Today we are going to start Chapter 7, Equations and Inequalities, and today's lesson is on page 296, 7.1, Writing Equations in One Variable. Our purpose is going to be to rewrite word problems into equations so we can easily solve them and to apply this skill to real-world situations. First, I want to clarify the difference between expressions and equations. In Chapter 3, we talked about expressions such as 4 plus 8 and x plus 8. In this chapter, we're going to talk about equations. Equations are a mathematical sentence that uses an equal sign to show that two expressions are equal. So the big difference is with an expression, it is a single expression, but an equation is taking two expressions, putting them together with an equal sign to show that they are equal or the same. To write a word sentence as an equation, look for keywords. And keywords for equals are include is, the same as, or equals. And this will help you show where the equal sign goes as well as what needs to be on each side of the equal sign. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of practice problems. The first one here says, write each word sentence as an equation. So when I look at my problem, I see sum of a number n and 7 and 15. Remember, is going to symbolize where that equal sign needs to go. So when I put the information on each side of the equal sign, my final expression or equation is going to be n plus 7 equals 15. Okay, the same thing is true with subtraction. I'm looking at the keywords. This time the keyword is decreased by. So I have y minus 4 on the left. When I have the word is, it means equals. And then 3 goes on the right. So final answer, y minus 4 equals 3. Last one is a multiplication example. 12 times the number p equals 48. Remember, when you're talking multiplication, you can write the number right beside the variable, such as 12p. You can put a raised dot in between, but you cannot use an x when we're working with algebra. Remember, when you use the x for the times sign, this looks like 12xp instead of 12 times p. So remember, no x's again. Final answer, 12p equals 48. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video. Please write the numbers 1 through 4 on your notes and answer these 4 questions. Please pause. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. The first one, b minus 9 equals 2. Please remember that less is a turnaround word. When we're talking about 9 less, it has to follow the variable or the number that we're referring to. Second one, 5g equals 30, or you could have 5 raised dot g. Number 3, k plus 10 is 24. If you had 10 plus k equals 24, that would also be acceptable. And then quotient equals divide, so 12 divided by 4 q divided by 4 equals 12. Remember, if you wrote it as a fraction, that would be just fine too, because a fraction is simply a division problem. Okay, now let's talk about application. When would we need to use this? So here's an example of a real-life problem. After 2 rounds, 24 students are eliminated from a spelling bee. So as I go through this, I'm going to highlight the important information that I will need later on. So I think, let me grab the highlighter. I think 24 students are eliminated will be important. Okay, as I read on, there are 96 students remaining. That's probably important as well. Write an equation you can use to find the number of students that started the spelling bee. Okay, so now as I think about putting this into an equation, when I think about the first part, I need to know, well, how many students am I starting with? That's actually what I'm trying to find the answer to. If I take the number of students that I start with and I subtract or minus the number of students that have been eliminated so far, that is going to equal my answer that I have remaining. So when I put this into variables and constants, here's what I have. Number of students that started, I'm going to use S for my variable. Students that started, and now I'm going to put it into an equation. If I take S, I subtract the number of students that are eliminated. Is means equals, so I'm going to have the answer of 96. So finally, my equation in the end, S minus 24 equals 96.